The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Time 5 to 7 minutes.
Manju, he told you the time and you know the rules. That's all.
Thank you. Toastmaster of the day, Vashi Chandiramani, founding president Vijay Chuk, evaluator and guest Toastmaster Arun Sharma, fellow Toastmasters and friends. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes just for a couple of seconds and travel back to 40 years. For some of you who are under 40, perhaps 20 years or 8 years. Think about someone you have lost touch with. Someone who you don't remember the name. And there's no chance that you can meet this person. Can you visualize such a person? You may remember the face a little bit, but you don't recall the name. And you have no way of connecting with that person. I'd like you to open your eyes, and if you have such a person, to raise the hand to show you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Thanks everyone. So good 60 to 70% of you. My story is about that. And it starts a few days before Thanksgiving weekend in November, when my daughter Naomi and I were cleaning the attic. And suddenly, my daughter Naomi squealed. Oh! She was so excited. She said, Mom, I found my old box that I thought I had lost during renovations when I was 8 years ago. And in there were old currencies. In there were my old cards, club cards. Because she was a collector. She was a collector of Mama's old things. A collector of sorts. And to my surprise, in there, she found an old hard address book. Now this address book belonged to me when I was 13 years old. And I'd forgotten its existence. So it was my turn to squeal. I went, woo! And I got so excited because there were addresses of my best friend in Japan who I thought I would never have a chance to meet. And some of my other classmates. Now that was a hard task to find those friends. So I started to flip through the pages, and then I found the address of my pen pal in America. Her name was Sheila. And I said, let me Google, because Japan, Googling might be a hard one. Let me get a low-lying fruit and an easier task. So I decided to Google this girl, her name and her surname as it appeared on the address book. I'd forgotten her name even. When I found, immediately I was surprised. I found a photograph of an elderly lady. Now I recognize this lady because she was the mother of my pen pal. She had sent me her family photograph, and in fact, the mother and my mom started to correspond 42 years ago, and they would exchange recipes. So immediately I knew it was her. But I was very sad because it was her obituary. She died in August. I felt very sad, but immediately in the obituary, I looked through the name list and I found my friend's name. And I knew it was her. And I got her surname as well. She had changed, of course, after marriage, her name had changed. This time, I Googled her, I Facebooked her. Sorry, my terminologies for technology is a little weak. I Facebooked her and found her on Facebook. I decided to send her a message with the expectation, A, she may not reply, B, she might say not interested, C, totally a different person, sorry, wrong number. And the fourth, she replied. She was so excited. And she said, hi Manju, of course I remember you. And I remember you were going to move to Singapore. So she knew that in 1980, way before my marriage, my parents had moved. And that gave me a timeline that we were pen pals for at least 5 years of our lives. So immediately we started to communicate on Messenger like pen pals. And I said, wait a minute, Sheila. Actually, technology has progressed so much. We can see each other other now. We can hear each other's voices, which was never possible that many years ago. So, we spoke on the Thanksgiving weekend to each other. After 42, first time in our lives we spoke to each other, we saw each other face to face on Messenger, and it was a beautiful experience. I noticed not only, what was amazing was that it was our values. We had similar values. And then I was in New York a few days ago, so decided to write her a letter so she could get a letter from me after 42 years. So she replied saying she was thrilled to get a familiar handwriting. It was a beautiful experience that taught me two lessons. One is to take risks. Take risks with friendships. Is there a friendship you haven't reached out for a few years? Reach out to that friendship. It will give you a warm glow in the face. I'm feeling the glow even as I'm sharing this story. The second is, it was on a Thanksgiving weekend. For her and for me, we could share this Thanksgiving story with our families and friends. So let's see how we can reflect through the year and years and be grateful for something that happens in our lives. These are the two lessons that I have learned from this beautiful Thanksgiving weekend.